Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think my flies are done. Yes, they are.
I'm Ben.
And I'm John.
And this is Sounds Like on Andertons TV. And then is it gonna do the thing? Are we having like the old music intro? What's...
So, in today's Sounds Like, we are doing Sleep Token, and we're going to do our own thing. We're going to completely hijack it. We're going to go digital, probably. Well, I think you are, aren't you? Probably.
I'm definitely going to go digital for this one.
Because Sleep Token use quad cortex, right?
Yeah,
so they
exactly.
use that, and we're going to do this without bursting banks. So we're not going to be too, decadent with money here. We're going to be trying. We can restrain ourselves.
£1,000.
So you're thinking digital for guitar. You're going to do the guitar duties today.
Definitely. The guitarist is 4, or
Yep.
I've heard it pronounced IV as well.
Yeah.
So
they're all Roman numerals for those who don't know Sleep Token.
there's not a lot out there on what gear he actually uses in the studio.
I did get a bit of intel on that. I spoke to their producer George Lever, shout out George. When he produced them, they used a modded JCM 800 Dan Gower amp.
Nice.
And then I think a mixture of plugins, but basically it's like an aggressive Marshall Friedman-ish style.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that kind of thing. But again, it's going to be like high gain scooped. They're very scooped, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not like 80s Van Halen scooped, but it's a modern metal sound that needs to be good low down.
Yeah, I usually go Helix myself, but that's going to be way out of budget. We will certainly blow our load too early.
Yeah, so Kemper Helix, Quad Cortex, all going to be too much.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a bit of a punt on this and go with the GP200 from Velton. That comes in at $299. So if we're keeping this around the 1K mark, that's going to give us about 700 quid to play with.
Yeah.
My math is right.
Still a lot of cash. Yeah.
Might not be right, let's be honest.
Are you doing a speaker as well?
I'm going to DI.
Okay.
I know that's how they roll live. They just go quad cortex straight into front of house. That's how we're going to, no power amp, no cab. We're just going to go straight DI.
Fair.
So
right.
I am currently sold on the GP200, but we will see when it actually gets into the room if it's actually going to work for us. And
I think it will. It does a lot, that bit of kit.
there's going to be a lot of patch creating to do.
For bass, I am, I guess, 3 for this.
Yeah, you are.
He uses a Charvel bass, a pretty intense one. It's not like a Char, it's a pretty one-off Charvel. I mean, in terms of modelers there, I could go modeler, but I just want to go bass amp. Just
Something
see if I can get
different.
and just see what I can get. So I'm going to have a look around. Have you thought about guitars?
When I saw them last year, 4 was using a 8-string Jackson and then used one of the Misha Charvels, 6-string for some of the bits. I know that Jackson made him like a single cut baritone.
Les Paul looking thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen much footage of them recently to know if he's still on the 8-string, but I'm gonna, just because I know that the pitch shifting on the quad cortex is amazing, and that's what they use a lot of the time for it. I've not tried the pitch shifting on this, so I'm not going to take that risk, and I am going to go 8 strings.
Yeah.
So Jackson, Ibanez, I know BC Rich do one, but I don't think that's really going to be in budget, so I think it's time to have a little bit of a look around to see if we can hunt one of the very few 8 strings that we have on display.
An 8-string for 800 quid is like 100 quid a string.
It is.
Yeah. So we'll do our best.
Let's go for a walk. That was quick. Obviously, I have got an Ibanez 8-string out.
Yeah, we've got 7 here. Depending on the pitch shifting, you could probably get away with that.
It's essentially 8-string standard down a semitone, and then that low string, which is an F, then goes down to an E flat sometimes. I think it's an E flat sometimes.
Sounds like a flat, yep.
With that Floyd Rose, it's going to be a long video.
What about Schecter? Was Schecter doing any 8s?
They used to. I remember they did the 9-string at one point.
Back in the day. Can't see any here.
Is that an 8 Jack? It's well out of budget, and it's a 7-string anyway. So I think we are going to have to go with this Ibanez 599. So it's just an iron label multi-scale. I think it's probably just going to be sporting a set of own brand Ibanez pickups as opposed to Demarzio or anything.
5-way volume tone. Yeah.
5-way. So I mean, there's a lot of like glassy cleans in there as well. So
it's so wide.
It is. That is literally.
That is cricket bat.
The width of my hand. This is going to be like watching me trying to learn how to play guitar all over again. I can't wait to see how bad it is.
That's going to be wider than the
comment
bass.
section roasts me. I don't think there's going to be anything else because this is.
Yeah, I reckon you get away with that. Basses.
Yeah, I reckon we're on to bass. I mean, this gives me enough money for a fret wrap.
Yeah, very on
That's
brand.
my budget.
Right. Okay, we're in the bass section. As I said, 3 Roman numerals uses a Charvel. I can't remember. Is it a 4 or a 5?
He uses a 5. I think it might even just be 5-string standard, so it's got the low B, and then they just use the QC.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be low, doesn't it? So
you're going to need a 5.
I'm going to need something quite modern, so not some of them.
He's got Fishman's in his as well, so we're going to want something.
Right. Okay. I think it has humbuckers in it in the bass. It's kind of like those style pickups in the Charvels that he's using.
Have we got any 5-string M series on?
Marcus Miller, that's a 4. If that was a 5, that might be pretty close. Oh, actually, these are good. I have this. I think I had this bass at home. Is this a Sound Gear by Ibanez 729?
Sounds pretty tidy to me.
These, I think they're called Bartolini. They're under the plastic
Bartolini ones, yeah.
Yeah, these are really, really... Oh, this is the updated version from mine. I've got one of these and it's absolutely knackered, so I'm going to get one of these. Again.
Again?
I'm not even going to look. This is the one. I've got the bass. This is about half my budget, so it's 729, I think, 729. So if we're saying 1,500 is without bursting the bank for a decent sounding rig, you're kind of going for that, aren't you?
Yeah, mine's about coming in about under £1,000. I'm trying to go really, really tight on this.
All right, well, because I'm going amp, that's just going to be a bit more, isn't it? And I've got volume with my rig. So
that is
anyway,
true.
half my budget is already taken. I'm going to look for an amp that has a bit of grit.
Yeah, it's going to need something behind it.
So, Ampeg might work, but that's going to be pretty pricey.
Yeah, it's one of the new ones as well.
Anyway, these are all quite expensive, but what caught my eye, the Alpha Omega Dark Glass over here, which is 769. So that is, I think, am I £1, £2 off 1,500?
But you don't have a speaker.
Oh crap! Yeah. No, hang on. Wait. This might have an emulated out. We love to see it. DI output.
I feel like that's cheating.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Okay.
You want to use DI out?
Yeah. You should welcome me into the DI club. We're done. We are done. This is a great rig. I'm happy with this.
I am intrigued by this, is the word I'm going to use.
I'm so chuffed. I think this is going to be great.
I think it's back to the video room.
Nice. Let's go. Oh, careful not to bang it on the roof.
Shit.
We are back in the studio. We've got all of our rigs dialed in, and as you can hear, I think we've done a pretty good job of getting the essence anyway of Sleep Token's sound. We are not 3 and 4 from Sleep Token, but we may be. Who knows?
Who knows?
Depends how well we played. I'll do mine first because I've got the much simpler rig. I think you've got a bit more dialed in there. So the Sound Gear by Ibanez SR505. Try and get the headstock, Oz. Try and get it. Great kind of modern metal bass. I've got one of these. I've got the older version, and it's really dinged up, and I've like taken loads of wood out of it. But I have a soft spot for this, so I'm glad I chose this now. It's got quite a lot of controls, but it's kind of simple. You've got a volume. I've just obviously all the way up. This is a blend of the pickups, so I just had it straight down the middle, kind of both sounded good. The EQ, I dipped the mids a bit just because I didn't want all of the like honk. I wanted that modern scooped kind of thing. So those are dipped a bit, and that little switch engages that passive EQ. And then the mid focus switch was all the way up, so that's just going to emphasize that frequency, and it just sounded great. So currently, without going through those controls, still got quite a lot of bite, and it's still quite tight. You can't really slap on it, but it's still got the clack and the kind of spank that you want. So moving on to this, the Alpha Omega from Dark Glass. I think it was designed in collaboration with John Stockman, I should get that right. Stockman from Carnival, who is just the man for the modern bass tone. He kind of pioneered it, I guess is the word. And this kind of does that really, really well, that kind of modern bass sound. So we have, if I just had the clean version, that's obviously not very Sleep Token. So I had it in distortion mode. And it's still quite clear in the low end, even though it's a 5-string on a B. And it feels good when you've got a guitar on top of it. But we could have a blend of the DI. I obviously didn't have that, but this is the DI of the bass, in case you're curious. Which is nice and clean. Like, it's a really nice sounding bass, loads of top end to it. But again, didn't want that, so I had the DI blend all the way to the amp. A bit of compression just to, pin it a bit. And then the bite and growl, yes, I've got them both pushed in. Without, it's just less intense, which is not sleep token. So, both in. The mod switch just above midday, so that goes between alpha and omega. Drive, I didn't need too much because these are quite high output, these Bartolini pickups. Like if I push this, especially on that lower string, gets a bit kind of fluffy.
Just loses the definition a little bit.
Yeah, so just shy of midday. Felt good. Level, cranked it a bit. And then the EQ, which is really powerful, red and metal and very Sith looking. I boosted a bit of the lows and the highs, those high and low shelves. So the low end could get very intense if you push it, so we just had a little bit of that. I dipped 250 because that's that low mid kind of like boxer frequency that sounds like this, and it's really annoying, so I ducked that. And then boosted a bit of 1.5k for the clack of the bass sound. If I emphasize that, it's a bit too much, but just a bit of it felt nice. And then, like I said, that high shelf with loads of it in is that frequency, which is super bright, but on those slaps that I wanted a bit of that to come through. So just a bit of that, and obviously master and a bypass. Over to you, Ben.
So I am 4.
You are.
Whatever that means, I am 4. Again, keeping it super simple, so I've gone with GP200 Velton and this Iron Label 8-string. Patch-wise, what I'm looking at, I've basically got the heavy rhythm patch here, and what I'm doing is I'm running essentially a 5150 with a matching cab as well. It's got tube screamer in front just to tighten up a little bit of low end, bring it in a little bit. EQ-wise, very similar to what you're doing. I'm dialing out at about 250 hertz as well. Yeah. And then I've got a noise gate just to prevent any unwanted overtones, which you will get from a guitar like this.
I wish I had a noise gate. That's the one thing about this rig I'd like. But
yeah. And then obviously, because I was within budget, I was able to get myself a very nice Ernie Ball fret wrap as well to go with my lovely Ernie Ball cable.
Spanther. Yeah.
Tidy.
Nice.
So, this is said rhythm tone, so nice and chonky.
Wait, tell us about the guitar.
No. So the guitar is just an Ibanez Iron Label 8-string, sporting a pair of Ibanez own brand pickups in this one, as opposed to anything sort of Damasio. It's kind of mid-range 8-string, but it sounds and feels great. I think a lot of time, if you've got a more affordable one, there's a lot of different brands out there that can offer this, crazy pricing, but you lose a lot of clarity, and you need that in a guitar like this. You need it to be very defined. So this is said Nap Voucher rhythm tone.
Nice. Yeah. Is it really full?
Yeah, it's chunky. Again, with a tone like this, you want to gun the mids a little bit more. I don't know if the camera will catch this, but the mids are gunned a lot. I remember the guys in Loathe saying that, because they play super low tune stuff with bass sixes and baritones, it's practically all mids a lot of the time just to get
Super
that
important.
cut through. Yeah. So that's the rhythm tone. I've also got a crunch channel as well, so if you are doing something like the summoning, that verse riff, you want to bring it back a little bit. So if I do... Again, it's just a lower gain structure. Same sound, 5150, but it just helps that tightness a little bit there.
Sounds really good.
Another patch which you would have heard in the intro as well is the Hypnosis one. So it's one of these patches you kind of need to give it its own dedicated feature.
But it's worth saying though, you can change all of that with just one foot switch.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's a great
and
bit of kit.
The timing of it's very good for a product, considering how affordable it is.
Right.
It's so powerful. And I'm running a lot on this patch as well. It's essentially a jazz chorus with a tremolo on, a really nice spacious reverb, and you can hear it very faintly. There's an upper octave bit. I don't know if that was like some quad tracking or whether they are running it in the track, but if you listen carefully, it is there.
Yeah, it feels really like clear. I mean, I'm not playing it, but like play like lower down sort of register chord.
But I mean, for 209, I think it's 209, that's very accurate.
Yeah.
And then it's got a super glassy clean, so. Which you can use for, you know, the clean section in Chokehold or something like that.
That's a bridge pickup as well on a clean channel.
That is.
Sounds really good.
A lot of the time, from what I've seen live, 4 tends to stick on the bridge pickup a lot of the time. I think if you end up on the neck, it can still get a little bit mushy at times.
Yeah.
So
down that register bridge is good.
It does help with that a lot. It's worth mentioning as well that the guys in Sleep Token use a lot of pitch shifting as well. It's one thing that gets overlooked. So I know tracks like Ascensionism and Vor off the new album end up going to like a low C and a low B. They're obviously using the Quad Cortex, which has got an unbelievable amount of processing power, but the GP200 does have a pitch shifter in it. So if I, for example, go back on the heavy patch and play just a little section of Vor, which goes down to a low B, it's not bad in terms of how sort of the tracking is. So you've got it on there. It's, you know, it's worth having on there. Like I say, the idea of these patches being that it's just going to give you a flavour of everything you would need to get started. And then, as you will hear at the end of this video, we did the sort of end funk jam from the Summoning, and it was actually we got it. It was first take. This one wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, no, everything we do is first take, always.
Yeah, absolutely everything.
Yeah.
So again, this one is 5150 patch, so very similar to the sort of Crunch one I've got. Gain brought back right away again, bypassing the overdrive this time, and I've got a phaser on just for a little bit of colour.
Feels really good. That phase is so crucial for that part, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's a load of weird production and filtering and stuff going on, but I thought we sounded pretty good.
It's a really nice throaty phaser.
Yeah, it is. So that is essentially how I'm running the GP200. And there's not a lot else to... Obviously, you can go deeper into these patches, but I think you could get most of the sounds with those 4 or 5 patches and effects on and off, to be fair.
And more, yeah.
Should we talk a little bit about the pricing of the rigs and sort of how we came in at and how we felt we did?
I don't know mine, so bear with. Right, mine was £1,498.
But you can't afford yourself a nice fret wrap, though, can
No,
you?
but I think all of that.
It does sound very good.
I say all of that, it's two things. I've just realised putting them down. But for the kind of sound, I'm pretty chuffed with that, to be honest.
I was trying to come in a little bit closer to sort of the 1K mark with my one.
Yeah.
And again, my guitar, the 8-string came in at $599.
Yeah.
And the GP200 is $299. So that gave me plenty of money for my fret wrap, and I can still go to spoons tonight as well. And
you've definitely won on the like efficiency, like per pound of like tone.
And it's also worth mentioning, if your budget is a little bit higher, you can, invest in the guitar, in my opinion, get a better guitar. The GP200 sounds fantastic for the price point. You can upgrade that to go quad cortex if you want later on down the line. Or if you're more than happy with it, spend a bit of money, upgrade the pickups a little bit further, or buy more expensive cables, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe like a cloak, some face paint, all the stuff Sleep Token have. Mask.
A nice balaclava as well.
Yeah, get a custom mask.
Commission
all
a
that.
mask maker.
And become anonymous and just delete your identity from the world.
Yeah.
That's probably quite expensive. So
don't pay council tax.
Yeah, all of that.
I reckon they
must
do.
be such a faff for them,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say we've done a pretty good job. Let us know in the comment section below what you think. Obviously, be sure to like and subscribe to the videos. Remember, 1 million gets you... No, John.
Oh, it's not. Where has it gone? Oh, it's there.
It's there.
It's moved now. That was embarrassing.
Get yourself a clon.
Gets you a light.
It gets you a plant.
It gets you a light and some drumsticks. But guys, thanks so much for watching. I've been Ben.
I've been John.
We'll see you on the next one.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye.